starting today's podcast off with a taste test because I love Dr. Pepper. I'm obsessed with it, but I never go like beyond that. Like I don't try other flavors. And people have recommended, or like I've seen a lot of people drinking the cream soda one. We're at my grandma's house right now in Michigan filming, and it's great. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I opened her fridge, and she normally has nothing in her fridge, like nothing. And she had Dr. Pepper cream soda. Oh wait, it's Dr. Pepper and cream soda instead of like Dr. Pepper cream soda. Weird. Anyways, and she had it, so I'm gonna try it. And this is my first time ever having it.
You know what's really good?
What? Coke Zero?
Vanilla. Coke Zero vanilla. I only get it at Wendy's. It's so good.
I'm nervous for. Anytime I go anywhere, I get Dr. Pepper.
I
Or
hate Dr. Pepper.
Strawberry lemonade. Why? I feel like this was like
the aftertaste is so gross.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's like a sweet drink, which is why I like it so much.
Okay.
It's not bad. Definitely tastes like cream and soda, which I guess is what it's supposed to be.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
Should I taste
I feel like it's like ice cream. I feel like it'd be like, instead of a root beer float, like a Dr. Pepper float. I feel like that's what this would taste like.
Isn't like root beer and Dr. Pepper like so similar?
No. Well, I don't think Dr. Pepper was what like I had as a kid because I wasn't allowed to have anything else since it was caffeine free. This was like one of the first drinks I had, and it was so good. The first time I tried it, I was nervous, but I became obsessed with it. I don't know how old I was when I had it. What was the question?
I don't like either. I asked if they were the same thing.
Oh, no. Root beer and Dr. Pepper are not the same thing. They're the two things I like. Well, I just drink Dr. Pepper all the time because at camp, that's all I had. Speaking of camp, why is that so insane? Okay, let's
roll the intro. What if it's a slow beat?
Real talk.
Anyways, welcome back to
Real Talk.
Today we are going to be filling you guys in on all things camp. For those who don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
We worked at a summer camp together the whole summer. 10 weeks. It's a lot.
10 flippin' weeks.
That sounds so long.
It's a long time.
Anyways, it was a very long summer.
And I'm so surprised Jen actually did it because for those of you who don't know so many times. But for those who don't know, Jenna, her two most recent jobs have been with kids, and she does not like children, but she does so well with them.
It's not that I don't like them.
They just get on your nerves really quick.
Yeah. There's some that just drive me to the point of insanity, but it wasn't that bad this summer, except the little ones.
You like the little ones?
I like 3rd and 4th graders.
Oh, so like just the smallest?
Yeah. Like kindergarten, 1st grade, not really my area, 3rd and 4th. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to read you the theme verse for the summer. Our theme was salt and light, so like on our door we'd have a salt name tag.
I was a light
name tag.
I was a light bulb. My name
tag.
tag.
Salt shaker.
And I said she was salty.
I want to be the light bulb. Okay, it's Matthew 5:13-16. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, and that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven.
Okay, so we obviously had to do a devotional about it every week for the kids, which we'll get into that later. But for me, like, obviously describing, like, the light of the world is super easy because you're just, like, try and be that, like, smile that someone sees during the day when they're having a bad day. But describing salt was so hard.
It to kids was so hard.
Trying to, like, get it to their level where they understood it. I was like, it adds flavor. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, actually, I couldn't tell you what I meant because I don't even know.
It's hard to understand. The light bulb is definitely easy to get, but
I think, what would you say, like, the final definition was? Like what would you always end up telling them?
Like, adding flavor, like, It's hard to explain.
See, it's so hard. But as soon as someone explains it to me, like a pastor, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. And then I forget it.
I can't explain it.
Okay, I think nope. I would try and then I would just stutter and it would not go well. So
Okay. Let's start with orientation.
Let's start in with move in.
Orientation was like the last week of May, and move in was like May 30th or something.
Something like that. And Jenna and I are obviously we had like graduation stuff and then grad parties, which will.
So I think we like moved in on a Tuesday, and we had like grad pictures on Wednesday and graduation on Friday. So obviously we had to take a little bit of time out of orientation to go graduate. But move-in day, we got there, like we put our stuff in our room, and then we immediately went downstairs to like do everything we needed to like sign in, get our clipboards, like get our nurse checks, like
which we never even got our nurse checks till like the next week because
the line was
it was just hard because I think the nurse that we had quit right before because we're supposed to have 2 nurses and I think one quit like right before orientation, so some people had to try and cover, so it just didn't go as smoothly. But
so we had no time to unpack, and then we like did stuff all that night. Like we played capture the flag, and I think we ended up.
Was that night? Was that the first night?
I think so, because I was still in my romper that I wore.
But I feel like I knew people. Like I feel like people were like, "Oh, are you on?" Oh, no, that was probably really recent.
I think it was the first night. But anyway, we didn't get back to our room till like 11 maybe, and then we had to unpack everything. Like
I hated night activities. I'm not gonna lie, because at that point I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, it was a long day.
Our rooms. Should we talk about our room?
Yeah.
Okay,
me and Maddie were roommates, by the way.
Yes, we'll also talk about that. But when we walked in, we weren't expecting like anything big.
Mm-hmm.
But you walk in, and we were right next to the door, which is actually really nice that we could get in and out right away.
Yeah, there was like a side door that our
room building
was placed next to. Yeah.
So it's a big, we call it the Arc.
It's an adult retreat center.
And you walk in and there's like a hangout area, which is actually really nice. There's like some tables and then some couches. And then there's a kitchen like behind that. And then it breaks off into 2 halls. And ours, you would walk down our hall. There's probably 4 rooms on each side. I think there was.
Yeah.
And our room was at the very end. And we walked in and immediately our bathroom is right to the left with a sliding door. The bathroom had some sink space.
Yeah.
Not a lot. More than what Callie's room had. So we had some sink space and then a mirror that opened it up, which was nice. You never used it. No. I put all my crap in there. Anyway, so it had a mirror, which was nice. And then a little toilet and then the tiniest shower where we couldn't do anything. I felt like it was literally wash up and walk out.
Yeah, sometimes me and Maddie would go to her sister's room to shave her legs because she had a big shower.
Yeah, so like, because they had like the width of a bath, but it wasn't like there wasn't a wall for a bath. So that was, and they had a lot of shelving space in the shower. Mm-hmm. We had like tiny little pop-out ledges.
And then we put the rest on the floor.
Yeah, it was not good. And it was a lot. And especially with all like our hair products, especially with us having curly hair, I feel like it just takes longer.
Yeah.
And it's just not fun. Anyways, so then after you walk past, it's this tiny, I feel like I won't even be able to describe the size of it. But it was so small. Like I think this area was just bigger than our room.
Yeah.
Like this square was where our beds were.
It's smaller than a dorm room. It's like you have the 2 beds on each wall. We had a little lamp, and then like it was a bed, air conditioner in between us, and then a bed, and then there was a lamp.
Oh, there was a lamp. I was like, what lamp are you talking about?
And then we had a big shelving unit against the bathroom wall, and then like a bookshelf against.
Yeah, and that sounds like a lot of like storage room, but it was in a way where we couldn't even get into the drawers for the dresser. Like there was a dresser up against the wall, and it had like some shelves and then some drawers, but right up against it was like a spot with some more shelves and some hanging room, and that was it.
We got a cute rug though.
We did. It was so quirky. I feel like that's the word to describe it.
Okay.
It was just so unique and like. It wasn't like a basic white fluffy rug.
And then I hung fairy lights on my side of the wall,
which actually was so nice.
I like it
because then when we had the lights off, we could just have those on and it'd be really nice.
And when I got ready in the morning, I would plug those in so I could like see, but it wouldn't be like too bright to wake up Maddie. But Maddie had a picture wall on her side, like if campers gave
towards the very end of the year.
Yeah, if campers gave us like photos or wrote us letters, we'd hang them up there, or our panda fortunes, which we'll get into. But remember we hung our 2 panda fortunes on the wall?
Oh yeah, one of mine I think was about, because towards the end of camp is when I applied to work at the school I'm working at now, and I think one of the fortune cookies said, "You will get a job with good profit soon," and I was like, "Whoa."
Crazy.
Not the good profit part, but you know what? I got the job, which was really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So orientation week, we did a lot of meetings. Oh my word. So many meetings. We'd have to be, what time? Breakfast was breakfast was at 8:30 every morning, which is fine because breakfast during the summer, like during the week, was at 7:15. So having the breakfast at 8:30 was a nice intro into the early breakfasts. But after that, it was meetings all day.
Yeah.
And that was just like you just sat in the chapel listening to them talk and go over expectations. And that was just long. And then all you wanted to,
I remember one day though, we split up into groups and had to learn all the activities. So you and your siblings did disc golf, and then we did dirt boarding, and then we did archery.
Which we never did.
We haven't done.
I did archery once, I think.
I didn't do any of it.
I think we did archery. I think we did archery once.
And then we did super slides, and I never did archery.
But we never did disc golf, and we never did.
I think that's more like res.
Res. I think res does that during.
Yeah.
Well, because res has more stuff to plan, so then they do that. But I think also res is also an overnight camp, and we weren't in that. But res did more shoot, what am I trying to say? Shoot, I had it. Oh, res only has 12 kids per cabin, as opposed to a shelter has 40 was the average, I felt like.
Yeah.
So to have 40 kids disc golf compared to 12 is hectic. I just hit my mic. So that's definitely probably why we never did, just because that'd be too much of a hassle. Also, I feel like rafting is the same thing. That's a lot with that many kids.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's true.
I keep getting sidetracked.
So we had a week 0, which was sort of a training week, but kids would come who are out of school, but there just wasn't as many kids. So
never mind, that's not really important, but there's a school that was having construction, so
yeah, their kids
started
early, and I think went to week 11.
Yeah, because we had a early week for them and a late week for them.
Yeah,
which was, I think, actually really nice.
I think it was
just to have the warm up and then the cool down.
It was a good training week, getting into it. So
get into it, yeah.
Sorry. Every week you're assigned a shelter. So there's A's, B's, C's, and 1 D shelter. So A's are kindergarten first.
Going into first and second.
Oh, first and second.
I think, yeah, because then B's are third and fourth.
C's fifth and sixth, and D's 7th and 8th. And there's only 1 D shelter.
Which, hallelujah, neither me or Jenna were ever in that one.
Yeah, I did not want to be with the D's.
Amazing.
They intimidate me.
These are scary.
They are.
They
and then I'd be intimidated by a 3rd grader.
Yeah, and now I think with my job, I still not really like 8th graders, but I have 7th graders. I'm like, oh, I love this. But when you first are meeting them, you just don't know what they're thinking. Yeah. So it's so scary.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. And so there would be 2 to 3 counselors per shelter, and then a coordinator. So me and Maddie were counselors because it's our first year.
Whoop, whoop.
And so I think my first week I was placed with the B's. Single B. There's double B, single B, triple B, and then
I love how you started with double B.
Double C.
You go double B, single B.
C, and then single A, double A, and then just D. And so I was with single B.
I was in single C. I probably couldn't, but I feel like I could tell you each shelter I was in every week.
I think I could too.
Just because I'm
I was with B's mostly.
That's true. But I don't know, I feel like I could. But
yeah. So
I didn't go in 2 shelters the entire time. Was single C and D.
I didn't go in D or double C.
Double C shelter is amazing.
Really?
If I get the courting position, I think that's the shelter I want to be in. Okay. Because it's not, I don't want to be close to the woods. Yeah. Because that's a lot. And it's just darker. It feels darker. Yeah. Double C shelter is the biggest, which makes me just feel more comfortable with keeping it clean, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the biggest, and it was in a nicer area. Like, there wasn't a lot of trees around it.
Okay, so no, it's okay. Do we tell like a story? Do you have any funny stories from the first week? I feel like
Oh, well, we did. Okay, so for orientation, we also had a staff pool party, which was so much fun. I love the staff pool parties. Anyways, we played a lot of games. So we played like Steal the Bacon and what was the other one? You would have to yell it when you got the ball.
Yeah,
Poison ball. That one was really fun, and I almost won that one. And
that was
I missed.
like a scary game.
Yeah. It was because you were back. Okay, so you shoot it. If you make it, you run and go get it. Everyone else is running the other way. And then once you get yell poison, everyone has to stop with their backs turned to you, and you have to try and hit someone. So it's actually really scary because you don't know if the ball's coming at you. Battleship?
Yeah, where you're like...
kind of. And the Steal the Bacon was really funny.
Yeah.
But Jenna apparently got nailed. But it got aggressive.
It did.
It got so aggressive. I was like,
I was like held underwater with the ball.
Yes.
They were like ripping it out of my hands.
Was that with just the 4 people, or was it with the entire, like when everyone
went?
Oh no.
I would dove for it, and I just got stuck under the water.
Okay, this might be TMI, but I felt like so many boobs were about to fly out of the bathing suits. I was like, I'm gonna see someone, and I'm not. Yeah. And it was the first week we met them, and I'm like, I'm about to see things I should never be seeing.
Close your eyes and go for it.
It got scary just because like everyone was being aggressive and like trying to rip the
ball.
Yeah,
it was intense. Everyone's kind of competitive.
It was very intense.
So,
I can talk about like my siblings' positions because then that'll lead into the nurse. Okay. So one of the reasons that I really wanted to do this job, actually, I never wanted to do this job because I remember we had a spring into summer. So that's like the welcome to the camp before we start. And I remember being at that last year and being like, oh my word, camp counselors like are so cringy. They're just like a weird vibe. And I'm like, I will never work here. Next thing you know, I was working there next summer and working at spring into summer. And I have told so many people this, but it was like probably one of the best decisions I ever made. Like I ended up loving it so much. And I think a big part of that was just having my siblings there and Jenna there, because like I don't do good with like interactions when I first meet someone. Like I just don't really like socializing at first. So it was nice to have Jenna there and then Callie and Ben there who new people, yeah. So they're able to connect us, which was really helpful. Yeah. Just the fact that they have both gone to camp there for longer than I have and worked there. Mm-hmm. So they just knew people, and that was really nice for like introduction wise. My brother, he started, well, he's done res for the past 2. What are you looking at?
You're good. I'm just watching the rainfall.
Oh my word. So he's been a res counselor for the past few years. And then my sister was like res counselor, res supervisor, and then she was nurse this year, which was so much fun because I was constantly in the nurse station getting some air conditioning, some social time.
So I was with the A's one week. I don't remember what week it was, but I was taking...
That was a bad week for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You hated that week.
I was taking a kid to the nurse's station to get an ice pack, whatever. I don't even remember the injury. And I walk in, Maddie is passed out on the bed. There's
not like actually passed out, but I was asleep.
Yeah. So there's like 2 like beds, like twin beds in there.
Yeah, it's like cots
for people to like lay on if they feel sick or whatever. Maddie, I walk in and she's asleep. I'm like, oh, perfect.
I didn't hear anything for a while. Like, I think I was fully knocked out.
And when I walked in there was about like 15 people in there, and she slept through it all. I'm like,
I think I sleep better with noise. Like, something will happen. Like, if there's just background noise and people are talking, I can fall asleep quicker to that than silence.
I mean, it was pure chaos in there. And
I didn't hear any of it.
Dead asleep. How long were you asleep for?
I don't know. Well, I went in during free time, I think.
Yeah.
And then, oh no. I went in for a little bit of free time, and then I went back out because I thought I felt better. And then I think it was more like I felt like I was going to pass out. So I came back in for the end of free time and missed the entire 3 to 4 period, I think.
Yeah.
Because I remember walking back to our shelter for, I think I was either walking back halfway through pickup or halfway through the like closing game.
Mm.
So I slept for a good half hour to an hour.
Yeah, it was just so funny because, I mean, 15 people were in there, and Maddie is just dead asleep
And I
on
was
the
probably
bed.
drooling, and everyone could probably see me. And
She was like laying on her sweatshirt, sprawled out across the
I
bed. It
sprawl
was
out when I sleep.
so
Ask
funny.
anyone who. Anytime we've had a sleepover, I think I have taken over half the bed.
Yes.
Just because I sprawl. But anyways, having my siblings, especially Callie's a nurse, was just nice because then I could go there and just hang out for a little bit if I needed a little break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Should we talk about our weekly rituals?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so camp is very exhausting.
Yes.
Like on Mondays was opening ceremonies for Res that we had to attend, so that was like at 7 o'clock. Tuesdays they did like Sam stuff. I
Yeah,
don't think we
CM
ever
Sun. We
went to
didn't have
that.
to do that.
Wednesdays was the bonfires we had to go to. It started at like
7.
7,
No, 7:45 was when we had to be out there
and
for
then when it,
prayer.
it went to like 10, and
And then
then
after that, I would do nurse checks with Callie.
yeah,
So
which we have
Wednesdays
a
were late
funny
nights.
story about that. Should we go into that?
Oh, well, okay, because I feel like there's so much to talk about that we're like going all over the
Okay,
place.
so Wednesdays there was
Week
bonfires,
rituals, yes.
and that you'd get back from late. Thursdays Romans and Christians I never went to, but then Maddie did, and then there was what's it called, Snack Attack,
Oh,
like a disco party.
I love Snack Attack. That was probably one of the highlights of camp. It was like a homecoming, but for Christian kids.
Yeah,
It was
so that
so
was
much
like
fun.
all the overnight kids, the Sams.
It was gross though. It was
It
really
was so
gross.
sweaty in there.
It's a tiny room. There's no AC. You had to have fans on, and it was just so much body heat.
But the lights were great. The music
It was
great.
so fun. So fun.
And then Fridays, you would sometimes have to do Friday cleanup, which
Yeah, Friday reset
was a while. And then we'd
that
have a meeting
took
after
longer
work.
than I expected.
It was, my first one was so bad.
Anyways, what? Okay, so we have meals that
Yeah,
are at
I
5.
just hit my mic.
What?
I just hit my mic.
We had meals at like 5 right after drop off would end at 4:45, and then we go eat at 5. And each day there was a dinner. So Monday was, I don't think we remember this. Pasta? Was Monday pasta?
Yeah.
Okay, Monday was pasta. Tuesday was burgers and hot dogs. Wednesday was a pizza that no one likes. Literally no one. So we'll explain what we did then. But the breadsticks, they had Bosco sticks. Oh, those were good. Those were good. And then Thursday was
popcorn chicken.
Oh yeah, popcorn chicken. And then Friday was pizza if you ordered it.
Yes. And
which was
so
really nice.
Wednesday, since we didn't really care for the pizza, we would go get Panda. It was only
like every Wednesday. It was so good.
It was so good.
But we didn't do that on Wednesdays. Because didn't you want to do it on Thursdays because we felt like we had more time?
Yeah. Because
we had the flyers, but on Thursdays we'd just be Romans and Christians, and you never did that.
So either Wednesday or Thursday we would go, and then we would eat. We would try to eat it, watch Gilmore Girls, and then go to our meets.
I forgot about those. Because I'm like, why didn't we feel like we had a lot of time?
I know. We had debriefs every day, Monday through Wednesday. It was debriefs, and what time was it? 6. They were at 6. Regular debriefs were at 6 because we would try to eat our food before.
Oh yeah, because it would be 5, and then at 5:30 was core debrief, and then 6 was
everybody debrief. So then you'd like split into East Side, West Side, and go do your debrief. It took like
some would take like 15 minutes if it was just quick and short, and then some would take half an hour if people felt like they had a lot to say.
Yeah, people wanted to share stories of their day. And so what was I gonna say? Oh, Thursday was planning meetings for the next week, so you'd find out what shelter you were gonna be in, and then plan accordingly. Like get your Bible time for. We have to talk about Bible times.
I didn't realize there was this much to talk about for camp.
So you'd get your Bible time for next week, and then that's why I felt like I had no time because I was doing freaking Bible times for hours on end.
Mine would do like 30 minutes, and then I give up.
But yeah, and then Fridays was everyone meeting, so we'd all meet in the shelter and discuss everybody problems. And so
we also got Starbucks too much
because you would be done from your like 7:15 to 4:45. You'd get done with your long day, you'd go eat, and then you'd still have stuff to do that night. So like you like physically felt like you couldn't get through it if you didn't get like
Yeah.
a pick me up. And so me and Maddie got Starbucks often just to get us through the day.
On the way here, I was telling Jenna, I'm like, I don't think we made any money from camp just because we spent so much.
It was a lot, but it got us through the summer. It was
Yeah,
nice.
it was so fun though.
Yeah.
That's when I became like super addicted to Panda Express, and now I get it all the time.
And then
It's so
sometimes,
good.
Sunday nights.
I loved Sunday nights. You did not.
I didn't like the small group portion.
Okay, that's fair.
I
I
just felt
would
like
have
it
come
was
back for the worship
awkward.
night, but not that my small group was bad. I
My
just
small-
felt like it wasn't doing anything for me.
Yeah, my small group was like it was totally fine. Like the leader was great. It's just
I just didn't
I
feel like
wasn't
it was
gaining
helping
from
me in
it.
any like
Yeah.
walk in faith or anything like that. It was just kind of like a talk session. I'm like, I'd rather be at home
Yeah.
instead of here doing this. But I would have come back for the worship night.
Yeah, so after small groups, it was worship, and then
The chaplain for that summer or a guest speaker would have come
Yeah.
and preached.
and then me and Maddie would sometimes go get Sweet Frog.
Well,
So
what did we call that? Sunday Sweet Frog? Sweet Frog Sundays?
Yeah.
And then we only got it like 3 times.
yeah, so but that was Maddie's first time trying Sweet Frog. So
It was actually. Like I've had frozen yogurt before, but like rarely. I think I had it when I was a kid and I just never went.
yeah. Well, I used to work there, so
I was
I've
about
had
to
it
say
a
that.
lot.
I'm like, that's a whole nother conversation.
Do you want to talk about Ben's fake engagement?
Oh. Yeah.
There's so much here.
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay.
We're gonna have to speed this up. We got a lot to get through.
Okay, so at one point we had some friends who wanted to do like a fake like bachelorette party and like go try on dresses and have someone be the bride, and then like they would go line dancing as a like bachelorette party. So they're like, well, we want to have like a backstory, and they were asking guys like, hey, would you like do a fake proposal for our friend Adeline? And Ben for some reason said yes. Like I was actually so surprised he said it. So then one day after um camp, yeah, it was like a Friday. And he like got on some nice clothes. It was like shorts and just like a polo. Like it wasn't like super fancy. And then they bought like a $15 ring from Target for this. And I took pictures for it, and it looked like the most legit proposal ever. It was so funny. It was so good though, and the pictures came out so legit. I might try and pull it up later. But another thing with that is that we sent it to the group chat thinking like, oh, how many people can we prank? Because neither one of them, like my brother was in a kind of in a relationship at that time, but no one knew. So then I'm like, I wonder how many people will believe this. And we sent it to the group chat, and there was some people who knew. So then they're like, oh, congratulations. And other people who were like, what? When did this happen? Like, congrats. And it was so legit, and it was so funny. That was good memories. The group chat was something else.
I never texted it once.
Never.
To this day, I still have not texted in that group chat.
That's impressive.
There's been hundreds of messages. Hundreds.
So many.
Probably thousands. And I've never said anything.
That's so impressive.
I'm proud of myself. What do you rate me on a scale of 1 to 10 as a roommate?
Oh, as a roommate?
Yeah.
10.
Really?
I feel like there was nothing wrong that you did. Because I think I was the main issue, and she just never like got upset about it, which was like so impressive.
Oh, thanks, Maddie.
But like, our showers like never like. She's clean, so I didn't really have any issues. We both kind of agreed on the temperature of the room.
Yeah.
So that was fine, and like,
yeah.
10.
Was there ever a point like I woke you up in the morning and you were like pissed? Because like I got up a lot earlier than Maddie, like a lot. I would get up at like 6:20, and breakfast was at like 7:15. It's not necessarily I had to do a lot. I just wanted to make sure I was out of the bathroom for like Maddie when she comes rolling in at 7 o'clock.
Whereas I would set an alarm for 6:50 and 7, and probably most likely wake up at the 7 one. But there were a few times where I don't think I woke up on time. And you're like, Maddie, it's time to get up. And then I would get up. I was never bothered by it because I'm like, I know I need to.
Yeah.
And you did it nice. It's not like you threw a pillow at me.
Okay. Wow.
So, what do you rate me? This ought to be interesting.
I'm gonna say an 8 because
That's gracious. That is very gracious.
I didn't love waking up in the morning, but it's not like
Oh, that was a negative part?
well,
the fact that you had to wake me up.
It's not like a downfall of my day, but like when your alarm would just go off and go off, like
yeah.
But most of the time I had AirPods in, so it didn't really like.
That's why I didn't think the music would bother you either.
Maddie played the same song every night before going to bed, and I literally cannot listen to it anymore because it just drives me nuts. It's Fast Car.
I played Fast Car by it's not a country song.
Oh.
Sounds like what's her name?
Not a girl.
No, it's a girl, the original, and Luke Combs did a cover of it.
Okay, well she played the Luke Combs one, and it drove me to the point of insanity. I mean,
and now apparently she can't listen to it.
Yeah, it was just playing earlier, and I'm like, oh my word, I can't listen to it.
Who's getting PTSD? Anyways, but before that, wait, you gotta rate me, and then we'll get into music.
Oh, the other thing is because your clothes would sometimes.
Sometimes. I have a video. I don't know. I think I might have just deleted it. Actually,
you're like throwing yourself under the bus.
Because sorry, I sucked as a roommate. So, Let's just say that.
But Maddie would keep all her stuff in the laundry bin, and like every week when we'd like come back on Sunday.
Can I show that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
She would just wouldn't unpack the laundry bin or just sometimes leave it all over.
And when I change, I just throw my clothes on the floor. But like you can see my side. Like that's my side. And then you look over and that's Jenna's. And
that's also the size of the room.
I probably just flashed everything. Oh yeah, that also gave you an idea of the room if you're watching this.
But it was still fun. So I give you an 8.
Thank you.
You were a good roommate.
We had some fun nights. There were just times where we'd be on absolute crack and we were just laughing so hard. We also had the best roommates. Shout out God and Grady.
Oh my word. We would knock on the wall and then they would knock back and then we would knock back.
Well, I guess
and then
more
one of them would come over.
Yeah.
But our rooms weren't connected. Like we didn't share a bathroom. So they were just like neighbors.
They were just our neighbors, yeah.
It was cute. And then sometimes I'd crawl at Maddie's bed because I felt too far. So
oh yeah, there was nights where she was on something and we'd cuddle and it was like this girl.
We have separation anxiety, okay? We can't be.
That's true. I was gonna say we, but yes, I do not do well separated.
Okay, let's talk about
music.
Oh,
every night for the first in one of our meetings because of in our meetings, our boss's wife is like, what's her job? Is she like a therapist? I think she's some sort of therapist.
Yeah.
So she had us lay down and she played different types of music. And okay, so she played different types of music, and it was like we'd lay down, close our eyes, and we'd like say how it made us feel or something. And then she played like this cello music. And what did you say? You said something that was so
like,
funny.
This sounds like it would play on the Titanic. And then she played like a little like faster version of it, and I'm like, this sounds like the Titanic sinking.
Oh, in the moment, that was the funniest thing ever.
And then we just like came to the conclusion that we would listen to it every night before bed. So that's what we did for a while. And then I started playing my music, and apparently Jenna hated it. It drove me nuts, but that's okay. I still give you an 8.
Okay.
Nurse checks.
Callie did nurse checks Mondays and Wednesdays. So after the pool party and after the Wednesday night fire.
Oh, we didn't mention the pool party, but that's okay.
We never really went to those.
Yeah. We went to a couple, but...
So after those, she would have to she would go to all the cabins and do nurse checks. So just like if kids came with meds, she'd pass them out, and I always went on them with her. And I love going to the boys' cabins because Ben was always there, so I could say hi to him. Because I never really saw him throughout the day. We never really saw res people. So we would go there, and one time, these kids were just goofing off, and then we got them really hyped up because we do water balloon 500. So it's like, I'll do this if you catch it. And this guy said, I'll shave my head if you catch this ball. So we were there to shave his head. Or shave his hair. It wasn't like bald, but we just cut it really short. We buzzed it. Anyways, and these kids, who started it? Did I? I feel like I might have taken a pillow and smacked a kid.
I feel like these are 2 separate times though. Was it?
No, I think they're the same.
Oh.
I think they're the
same. I think he like went off to like go shower.
No, because he left it. No, He left to go, I think, get the clippers.
Oh.
And then we started a fight.
And then we're just like, let's cause some chaos. Because
Yes.
he's like, everyone go
Yeah.
sit down.
Yeah.
And then we're like, me and Maddie are like, no, let's have some fun.
And these pillows were hard as crap. I think I
don't know what they put in them, but I could have been knocked unconscious.
I think so.
They were so hard. And
they were super hard.
So anyway, all the boys from the 2 cabins that were in there went into the little lounge area and started whacking each other.
That was painful.
And then the couch cushions
Well, because we used couch cushions. That's why it hurt so much.
It was intense. But then Maddie shaved his head.
Then me and my sister buzzed his head. And there's a video of me doing it, and I'm like shaking because I was so nervous. I don't know why, because it's not like I was doing a straight cut. Like, it was just the same length all the way around. But that was fun.
That was really
just to be
fun.
able to do that and see all the kids' reactions. The bugs, okay, we can also go into my spider issue.
Okay.
But the bugs at Wednesday night fire can dig themselves a grave because I about shot them all with a 22.
No matter how many layers you wore, they just
or how much bug spray. Your ankles were destroyed. Like, Jenna was getting bites. Leggings. Well, this is where this comes in, because you were getting bit through your leggings. So we get back to our room, and I have this bug sucker thingy, and Jenna's just laying down.
Like, sucks the...
It's supposed to suck, like, the venom or whatever is the itchy part out. And sometimes it works. Did you feel like it worked?
Yeah. I
okay.
think so.
So it was... You want to explain it?
So, I had them all over. I mean, I probably had
all over.
100 on my legs. It was... Like, I couldn't sleep at night because I was itching so bad. So, Maddie just kept using this bug
because Fast Car was playing.
Yeah. Maddie kept using this bug sucker thing. And I'm like, Maddie, can you do my legs? So, like, I don't even know. Like, probably, like, 20 minutes she sat there and did all my mosquito bites.
Yeah.
Which I was very grateful for because it helped. But
apparently it hurt a few times, which I thought was weird.
It does hurt. It feels strange, but
yeah. Anyways, so then, same thing with bugs. This is probably the one negative, not the one, but one of the negative points of camp was the amount of spiders. There were so many spiders on these picnic tables, and I hate bugs in general, but spiders especially, and it was just disgusting. Well, anyways, one day I just felt like something on my neck. I'm like, oh, it's probably just the wind, like, blowing my hair on my neck, and I was like, I'll just leave it. And normally I wouldn't have. I would have, like, pushed out of the way or something, and I didn't, and I just left it. And then it did it again, and I was like, okay, what is that? So I moved my hand, and a flippin' daddy long legs jumps onto my leg. I'm like, you're telling me that thing was on my neck? I literally screamed bloody murder. I felt bad for any of the kids who were in there. I lost my mind. And I just felt like the spiders on me the rest of the day. It was so gross. Sorry, I get aggressive, but
yeah, it was a lot of bugs. There was a lot of bugs.
Which I guess you expect at an outdoor camp, but it was
But they
bad.
did, like, spray for bugs, and I felt like it did nothing.
They sprayed, like, every other Monday, and I'm just like, it might have helped because we're in the woods, so it wasn't as bad, but it's still not great.
Yeah. I think we should talk about what kids have said to us.
What kids have said to us? Okay, I'll put my quotes.
Okay, so I met this kid.
We gotta talk about our ants, too. Should we do that now? Because we were talking about bugs.
Sure.
Okay, so for the duration of the summer, we did not have a lot of bug issues in our room. There were a few cockroaches.
Yes.
Some people more than others. We only had, like, one.
Yeah.
But there were some people who had some more, which was kind of sad. But we didn't have any issues. The last 2 weeks of camp, we had an ant infestation. We didn't know where they were coming from. And every time we walked into the bathroom, there was 5 on the floor. Or crawling on our wall, or crawling on the ground.
I mean, it was insane how many ants were in this room. Like, you couldn't walk a step without stepping on an ant. And no matter how many times I, like, brought the dustbuster and, like, sucked them all up, nope, they'd come right back. It was
so bad.
It got really annoying.
It did.
And I was already having, like, one of the worst weeks of my life. And then ants. So.
Sorry. Okay. Quotes.
Okay. So I met this on week 0. I was in the bee shelter, and there's twins in this bee shelter, and one of them doesn't talk to me at all. Like, can't get through to him. So anyway, one of them wouldn't talk to me at first. I was in bee shelter a lot, so every time I'd see him on the playground, I'd be like, hey, how's it going? And he just, like, wouldn't really give me anything. But, like, halfway through the summer, he, like, started engaging in conversation with me and, like, would talk to me, and it was, like, a crazy breakthrough because it was rare to see him, like...
He got really comfortable with you towards the end of the summer.
Yeah.
He was really close with you.
He would give me hugs and hold my hand, and it was just, like, it was crazy to see like how we were at the beginning of the summer to how we were at the end of the summer. And then I had a migraine one day, and he came back with a picture. It was a monster. It was
Oh yeah,
kind of
I had him draw it for
scary,
you.
but
Well, he drew it, and
I
then
appreciate the
yeah.
effort. And he wrote me a little note at the end of the camp, and I wrote him a little note at the end of camp. But anyway, he was just a really funny kid. So the coordinator for the bee shelter would be like, let's go pick up trash. Like everybody pick up 5 pieces of trash. And I would just be like standing around like watching kids pick up trash, and he'd try to come pick up me. Which you can't really be mad at him because it was funny.
It was kind of
Like
funny.
I love that sense of humor, so I just laughed like every time. Like even if I wasn't in the shelter and he was told to pick up trash, he would like come find me wherever I was walking and like try to lift me up and bring me over to the trash can. I just thought it was so funny,
And
and
it's
I
just like the little inside joke that you guys had,
yeah,
which was really cute.
yeah, I love that sense of humor, and it was just like cool to see how far we came. That he can like make jokes with me and like we laugh, and it was just great. So
Yeah.
anyway, Maddie.
I have a few, and I feel like they're always so funny in the moment, and I'm just so bad at telling them. Anyways, so if you laugh, you laugh. If you don't, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, so one of the kids who I think you also have to know the kid for this to be really funny. And this kid, just for those of you, if I say this, you might know who I'm talking about. But he would just do laps around our shelter all the time. Like I think it was just something to like keep him busy, keep him occupied. He was in Triple C a lot. I don't know if you know him. Anyways, he would just always do laps, and I don't know. He was a fun kid. Anyways, one time as he's just casually walking around, he just says, "I think my cat is having a funner time than me right now." And that just made me laugh so hard because I don't know what we were doing, but he was just like, "My cat's probably having more fun." And when I know all cats do is lay around. So I thought that was just so random,
Yeah,
especially coming from him.
That's funny.
And then do you have one more?
No,
we can
go ahead.
okay. So I was in the C's, and that's 5th and 6th graders, and I became obsessed with that age group because I love where I can be like sarcastic with them and like have fun, but also like I don't have
Which
to
you're
like
not supposed to technically be sarcastic with them, but it's really hard because
yeah. That's how I make connections.
Yeah, they give it right back, and
yeah.
it's just how you interact.
Because I think
with kids.
they're more sarcastic with me. Maybe that's
Yeah.
more it. Anyways, so I really loved that age group. And one time during lunch, I'm like, I want these kids to have like a memorable summer. So like I tried to do a belly flop into the pool one time, which for me is hard because I have to plug my nose when I go underwater, and you can't really belly flop when you plug your nose. And this kid's like, "Come on, I thought camp was supposed to be fun." I'm like, "Oh, that really hit me deep," because I'm like, I want to like do those experiences where those kids are like, "I remember when my council like did this super fun thing."
Yeah.
But, like also that's so out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we had a water fight at lunch in our shelter when I was courting one week, or like for the last 2 days when I was courting. Oh, it might have been the full week. Anyways, so I'm like, you know what? These kids will love this. They'll probably remember this for a while. So I let them. We just had like a water fight, which sorry to people who passed out the water bottles. But so I was soaking wet and it was cold and windy, and I was like, this is really miserable. And one of my girls goes, "Miss Maddie, you remind me of homeless kids, freezing and still hungry." I was like, the still hungry part
That's
cracked me up because she wasn't like freezing and hungry. She was like still hungry, like they haven't eaten yet. And I'm like, oh my word. It was just so random, but it was really funny. It was like, I'm like, where did you come up with that?
I love it.
So, speaking of creative, what's up with all these skincare routines that these kids have?
Oh my goodness.
It's ridiculous. The amount of like we have
which is
bees specifically.
3rd and 4th graders. They would be teaching me about skincare. They're like, okay, first you do toner, first, and then you do moisturizer, and then you do this. And they were telling me what brands to buy.
I do mascara.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, and they'd come to camp wearing concealer. And it's just like, I don't even wear that. Like,
yeah. It was kind of hard to see, actually. Just because it's
crazy.
like, you shouldn't have to think about that when you're that young.
And they were like shaving their legs. And I'm like,
I didn't shave my legs till I was in 6th grade.
You don't want to start that early.
No.
Like, because you got to do it for the rest of your life. So it was just crazy. And then they would come to camp like wearing pimple patches. And it's like, how is that even a thing at your age? It was insane. It's crazy watching like the next generation like grow up, and it was very few kids who did that, but the ones who did were just like, it was so weird to see.
Yeah.
So
to close it out, do you want to talk about Bible times?
So Bible times are assigned every week. they were an hour. You had to be fill an hour, and you were supposed to do like a 45-minute lesson and an activity. And so
Good. Whoops.
and so the activity was technically supposed to be 15 minutes long, and you're supposed to talk for 45 minutes. But
Good
sometimes
grief.
you were assigned like 4 verses, and they had to make 45 minutes out of it, and it was really difficult, especially every week. And so I the first one did not go great. Oh, we have testimonies.
Like, do our testimonies, or
No,
we can do like our testimonies in a separate episode,
no,
but
I'm
we
just
can talk
saying we
about.
also
Okay.
had to do testimonies on Thursdays, so you had to like tell your life story to the kids, and like all the counselors and coordinators did it, which was
Which,
fine. It was
but
just
when there's
stressful at first.
yes, but also when there's only 3 counselors in a shelter and you have to cover a full hour of testimonies,
Yeah, like
that's so difficult.
yeah, in Bible times I would spend hours. Like Maddie can vouch for me. I spent
So many.
so much time on these Bible times, and it maybe come out to like a half hour.
I felt so bad. I think there's for Romans and Christians maybe especially.
Yeah.
I would leave at maybe 8, and then come back around. No, I think I left. What time was 8? I
I don't
think.
remember.
Anyways, I would leave for an event, come back, and she'd still be working on it. And then,
I just spent so long doing these Bible times, and I want to make sure they're good. Like, I wanted to make it engaging and like ask them questions and do a good activity, but I just wasn't filling the time. Like, no matter how much time I spent on it, I just could not fill the time. And so, like towards the end, I started doing like an unscramble activity to like give them hints, and they have to like try to unscramble the topic, and then I'd talk, and then I do like a closing activity, which helped a lot fill the time, but
you
it was
figured
just
out what to do towards the end of the summer. Like at the
yeah,
beginning, you just feel like you have to do so much, and then at the
yeah.
end, you're like, oh, it's actually so casual.
And it's like it's hard when they give you like 4 verses and you don't know context, and so you gotta like look it all up and like understand it yourself before obviously before you teach it to kids. But it was just really frustrating for me, and I did get better at it towards the end and was more confident in what I was saying, but it was still like so difficult, and it was one of the
Yeah.
hardest parts of the summer. I feel like I just used so much time on it, which is good, but also it
Mm-hmm.
took a lot of my time.
I think my favorite thing to do, especially since I was with the older kids a lot, was talk time, which is time alone with God. And that just took, like, it covered if I had extra time, I would do it. And it was actually cool to see some of the answers the kids had,
Yeah.
because, like, some of them, you don't know, like, time alone with God. So we either had them, like, write down something in their journal, or they would um pray like on their own and spread out. So it was really cool to see like the kids who like were actually praying.
Like taking it seriously.
Yes,
Yeah.
like taking it seriously. Like that was just something where I was like, that's really cool that like they're actually
Yeah.
taking it seriously. And me and my friend Sarah, she started this thing where on Fridays she would hand out pieces of paper and all the kids would just write down any prayer requests or anything they want to get off their chest to talk to God about. And that was also really cool. Like it was kind of actually really sad to see some of the answers the kids had, just because you're like, I would have never thought that kid was going through it, but it was actually really good. And like, I, it was just some of them were really sweet, and some of them were like, I don't know. There were some that you just, it was a really good thing to do.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and that also took a lot of time, and you can just like play music in the background, give them their own time and space.
Yeah, you should get a speaker for next summer.
I think if I am going to be a court, I'm going to get Spotify Premium and a speaker.
Yeah, you should.
Anyways, sorry.
No, sorry.
Summer moment. But I wonder if like doing that on Thursdays would be better, because then like that can kill the rest of the testimony time, and then they can write it down, and then I can see who wrote down what and like pay more attention to them on Friday.
That's true.
Like, or like talk to them afterwards and see how they're doing and stuff like that.
Pray with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I prayed with a kid at school on Friday? Yeah.
That's cute.
He is one of my troublemakers, and it was really difficult. And he crawled under his desk and put his chair over his head, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're in 6th grade. Like, and he has some ADHD, so it's like really hard for him to try and sit still and listen, which I completely understand. It just can be very frustrating sometimes because he doesn't want to do his work and he distracts the entire class. But he went under his chair and put it over his head, and I was like, I need you to sit up. I was getting so close to my breaking point. I was like, this kid is gonna be the death of me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go sit down by him, give him a little bit. So I went and sat down like at his level, tried to make him feel a little bit more comfortable. And then after a little bit, I was like, hey, can you pull the chair off your head? And he did. I was like, okay, we're making progress. And I was like, hey, like, what's wrong? Like, is something bothering you? Or like, why? He started off the year so good. Like, he's so smart in ELA. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows what he's doing. He just doesn't like putting in the work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, like, what's wrong? And he didn't really answer me. He kind of did. And then he said something about, like, his brother's in college and, like, he's scared that he won't pass or something. Like, the kid was. Anyways, like, I was like, do you want me to pray for you? And he was like, yes. And I was like, do you want me to pray or do you want you to pray? And he pointed at me. I was like, okay. So I prayed for him. And I was like, that was kind of my comfort zone. I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm called to do. So I was going to do it.
Good job.
Anyway, so then after I was done praying, he was crying. And I was like, I'm going to lose my mind. And there's like teardrops on the paper, and he like pushed out of the way so I couldn't tell. And there was just like drop after drop falling on the floor. And I was like, it's just
so cool.
And I want to believe him. But like the teacher was like, is that like, do you think that's true? And I'm like, it could be. Because like if this kid, his brother's living at home still, and if he's having a hard time with classes, then that can cause like a lot of tension probably. And maybe it's all taken out on this kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to believe him. Because also he started crying. Like,
yeah.
I think he just needed to break down.
Yeah.
So it was nice just to see that.
It was good for you to be there for him.
Yeah. It made my job, I feel like, worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love those moments where.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think we covered all the topics. We could probably do a part 2, honestly.
On camp?
Yeah.
There's probably so much we missed.
There's a lot. I had to dye my hair pink.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people did.
With Water Balloon 500. Water Balloon 500 was dangerous. I never did. Oh! I just thought of ponds. Okay, we have this really gross pond. Really gross.
I had to do the pond and dye my hair pink in the same day.
Ugh.
And you jump in with your clothes, too. Like, you don't even change
the pond is muck. There's no water. There's this much. There's, like, 3 inches of water, and the rest is, like, dirty, like, muck and leaves and sticks. And one time when I was covering courting for the last few days, and we were doing closing game where it was a counselor or a cord raft race.
Yeah.
And me and the other girl who was doing it with, we were literally on the verge of winning. And then he jumped in the water. I'm like, what is he about to do? And he went up to all of us and flipped us over. My goal the entire summer was not to go in that pond. And I ended up doing it in the worst way possible. We ended up winning the race, but I was so ticked.
Yeah, Maddie thinks it's really gross. I honestly didn't think it was too bad. I just hate having to do it in my clothes and then walking back to my room to shower. But I maybe jumped in the pond like 3 times because of Water Balloon 500.
Yeah.
But
it's just, like, and I don't like ponds and lakes anyways, just because of, like, it's just the black squirrel. I don't really
see them here.
Yeah, I think they're, like, only native to Michigan. We have the eastern gray squirrels. Anyways, so that was just my goal this summer, was not to go in, and it was just really gross. But it's fun. The kids love it. And you get to shower afterwards. So which was nice to have that break, at least for you.
Yeah, for free time. You got like an hour just to...
Oh, we could talk about free time too.
We could talk about the whole schedule of the day, but
maybe we'll do a part 2. Anyways, because I could talk about, shoot, what else was I thinking about?
Pickle Shack.
Yes, Pickle Shack, and my family connection to it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, part 2.
All right, let's roll this outro. We don't have outro music.
See you next week.
I've hit my mic like 5 times in the past minute.
Yikes.
Is that it? See you next week.
Hey, can you guys please fund us so that we can get new mics?
We need better audio.
We need better audio. We need handheld mics. We also need mics for guests. Let us know if you want to be a guest, because we'd love to have guests.
Let us know. That'll be so fun.
That'd be exciting. Excited? I said that'd be excited.
Oh.
Instead of excited.
Stop raining?
I don't trust it.
We gotta go. Okay, anyway, bye.
Peace out.
See you next week, maybe, hopefully. Bye.